Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I have 3 more candles that are ready to be formally reviewed. So today here on my channel, I'm going to be sharing those 3 in-depth home fragrance reviews with you guys. We're obviously kicking it off in this first video here with Kringle, Chiffon, Parfait, and Peony. But I will be sharing 2 separate in-depth reviews a little bit later on today. I will also be sharing a country candle review and a Scentworks review. So if you are interested in more of my home fragrance related content, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button before checking out of the video today. That way all of my future content will pop up in your subscription feed. Anyway, you guys, I am continuing on with these reviews for the new fragrances from Kringle Candle for Spring/Summer 2025. This is one of the new scents here, and I have been sharing my reviews in order of favorite to least favorite. This is the 3rd candle, so this is my 3rd favorite out of this lineup here. I was a huge fan of this as soon as I stuck my nose into it during my first sniff impressions, and my opinion that this is absolutely beautiful still stands post-burn. So anyway, I'm really excited to share this one with you. I'll go ahead and link where you can find this particular candle at the very top of the description box. If you would like to save 15% at Kringle Candle, you can use my discount code Melanie15. That will save you 15% off of your purchase. You can just enter that in the little coupon section as you are checking out. Anyway, guys, love this one. So let's go ahead and dig into the scent description. We'll discuss the top, middle, and bottom notes. I'll tell you what I actually smell here. We'll discuss the strength and the throw, and then of course address any burn issues that may have come up. Let's go ahead and get started by reading through the scent description here. Juicy lychee and bergamot balance the tart crispness of rhubarb for an irresistible first impression. A lush bouquet of rose, magnolia, and peony blooms, exuding soft romantic elegance. The base envelops you in the creamy warmth of vanilla and cashmere, grounded by the earthy sophistication of vetiver and the gentle sensuality of musk. So the top notes are lychee, bergamot, and rhubarb. The mid notes are rose, magnolia, and peony. The base is vetiver, vanilla, musk, and cashmere. The overall vibe of this fragrance is definitely that of a floral vanilla. If you, for example, were a big fan of Bath & Body Works Pink Petal Tea Cake, I would put this particular scent in that same category of fragrance, where you have some really beautiful florals mixed with a slightly gourmand vanilla. I think the execution of this is really well done. It's a very soft, very delicate, just very pretty type of fragrance. I really like this one a lot, you guys. I think part of the reason that I also really like this one is I really like the label. Garden roses are definitely my favorite type of flower to work with as a florist. Like, whenever we get orders where clients are willing to actually pay for garden roses, I just always get really pumped about that. Most people, once we quote them the price of a standard rose compared to a garden rose, will go with the standard rose for budget reasons. But man, if you are willing to spend the money on David Austin roses, they're just absolutely stunning. And the rose that I smell in this particular scent really reminds me of several of the David Austin roses that we will typically order for clients. They're just really, really beautiful, stunning roses with a high petal count, and the fragrance is just mwah, chef's kiss. They're beautiful. So I really like that the floral component that I'm getting here is more of that garden rose versus the standard rose. There's also a healthy dose of peony in here. Definitely also some magnolia, but I feel like the magnolia is kind of in the background behind that garden rose and that peony. But let's actually get started at the top here. So I want to talk about the top notes: lychee, bergamot, and rhubarb. So I actually don't smell any bergamot in this particular one. I feel like for this spring summer season, Kringle really went ham with the bergamot. There are so many fragrances that have that particular note in them this go around. And I can smell it in a lot of the other scents, but I don't actually smell it in here. I'm kind of glad that I don't, because I feel like it was maybe a lot of bergamot. It's not always my favorite note. I think it can definitely make sense in a lot of different fragrances, but in this one, I don't know. I'm kind of glad that I don't smell it. I feel like it would almost be a little bit too aggressive for this particular one. I love the lychee that's in here. The lychee definitely brings that kind of intense, really sweet, tropical, almost like candied effect to the sweetness here. It's a really nice lychee. Huge fan of that note in both home fragrance and personal fragrance. I also get a little dose of that rhubarb as well. Now, to me, this smells like stewed rhubarb that you would put on like vanilla ice cream, for example. So during the summers, my mother-in-law grows rhubarb like it's her job. She has so much of it, but a lot of her grandkids like it, my daughter included. So my mother-in-law will usually give me a ton of it, and then I will stew it up with sugar. You know, I just cut it into small pieces and then put it on the stove and just kind of simmer it down until it turns mushy. Stick some sugar in there, and then my daughter loves to just eat that by the spoonful, but we also like to put it on ice cream. So to me, I smell that stewed rhubarb that I make every summer for my daughter. It just adds sweetness again, but also that rhubarb tang. It's really interesting, and it goes super well with lychee. Both scents have kind of a tanginess to them, but they also provide sweetness at the same time. So it's just a beautiful combination with the rose and the peony especially. They just pair really well together. That does mean that this is definitely a sweeter floral. So if that is not your vibe, I would stay away from this one. I think you'd be disappointed in it. We've already kind of talked about the rose, the magnolia, and the peony. Let's head to the base. I do get a tiny hint of vetiver in here. It's not super noticeable though. I get much more vanilla. To my nose, it smells like a vanilla bean. I do get a little bit of that kind of musky cashmere vibe, but it's a very light kind of white musky scent. If you remember the Jovan white musk from the 90s, like it kind of has that type of like white, clean, musky type of muskiness in here, if that makes sense. And the cashmere, just I think kind of, I would put it almost in the same category as the musk, where it's just a very kind of light, clean, like kind of white cashmere type of scent. It's not super heavy. It's not super aggressive. It's not the most noticeable part of the scent, but I think it helps to kind of make the overall scent lean a little bit more sophisticated. It's just a really beautiful scent, you guys. This is the type of like sweeter floral that I would actually wear as a personal fragrance. This particular scent, I think, would be such a pretty perfume for the springtime. I don't know if Kringle has any interest in getting into body care at any point, but I think if they did, this is one of probably like the first fragrances that I would recommend in terms of like a spring floral lineup. This would be perfect for that. It's beautiful. I love it. I will definitely be repurchasing this one in the future. I was a huge fan of Pink Petal Tea Cake back in the day, and since that really isn't coming around anymore, I think this would be a really great replacement for those of you that are really missing pink petal tea cake. Strength and throw. I think this has had a super solid performance, you guys. From the very first time that I lit this one up until this point now, it has been somewhere between a 7 and an 8. So let's say about like a 7.5. It has a really good presence in the room where I'm burning it, but it also travels outside of that space. It's strong enough to where you do have to be mindful about what else you're burning alongside this one. So as long as you're doing another gourmand or another vanilla, this one is gonna pair really well. Even if you have another floral, you know, I think this would pair quite well with that. But I had this going around the same time as some of the other fragrances that were released with this collection. It didn't do well with other fresh scents. It didn't really do well with the citrus fragrances. So it's definitely potent enough to where I think you want to be mindful about what else you're pairing it with. But it's also not the type of fragrance that's going to be super aggressive and smack you in the face. You're gonna notice it, but it's not aggressive. So strength and throw for me are a solid medium. I don't know, this is one where since florals are not always my favorite, I think I might actually stick with the 2-wick format instead of trying the 4-wick of this one next. I think I get plenty of strength and throw for a floral from a 2-wick, but obviously this is available in a larger size if you are not like me and you want a scent like this to smack you in the face. I'm sure you're gonna get a little bit more oomph out of the 4-wick. So, all right. In terms of the overall burn, no concerns. This is another one where over the course of last weekend, when I was initially testing it out, I was letting this one burn for like 6-7 hours a day. And I have had absolutely zero issues with the wicks or the wax here. So I'll give you guys an overhead shot so that you can see how things are going. This, for example, has been lit for just over, I would say, 3 hours at this point. So I feel like I have reached the full wax pool. You can see those flames are nice and tall. I don't get really overly large mushroom tops on these particular wicks. Ooh, that's quite warm. That's actually really warm. Yeah, not huge mushroom tops that are going to form here. But you do want to trim these wicks just ever so slightly. Absolutely no discoloration on the glass. Just a little tiny bit of like that wax residue, just like the typical like soy beads, I guess, that kind of stick to the side here. But yeah, nice clean burn, even wax pool. And each time that I have lit this one, it's honestly been flawless, you guys. I have no complaints. I love the scent. I will repurchase it. I think it's so lovely. And like I said, if you are missing that Bath & Body Works Pink Petal Tea Cake experience, you should check this one out because I think it would be more than an adequate replacement for you. So anyway, you guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you found this video helpful, definitely give it a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.